Over the last few years, I've read more than 100 books about money and personal finance, and the ideas in these books have taken me from zero to almost financial independence, some of them really surprising me because they were the opposite of what I had learned from my parents or from school. So these are the 8 best finance book ideas that I recommend to everyone. Rich Dad, Poor Dad. This is perhaps the most popular book on this list and was the one that introduced me to the concept of assets and liabilities. As the author explains, assets are things that put money in your pocket. This could be something like investing in shares, real estate funds, or some business you have. And liabilities are things that take money out of your pocket, which lose value over time. And these are the things you need to avoid, especially in the years when you're still trying to get rich. Rich people strive more and more to increase their number of assets. They use the money to open businesses, invest, buy real estate, and so on. Over time, they reach a large amount of income generated without any additional effort. And that's when they start using their money to buy the best cars, the best cell phones, and the house of their dreams. Meanwhile, the others want to do the opposite. They only care about their liabilities. In other words, they want to have the best cell phones, the best cars, and pay fortunes on their houses, leaving their assets to one side and becoming hostages to their jobs. The priority for the rich is assets. For others, it's liabilities. Work 4 hours a week. The idea that most struck me in this book was the concept of the difference between absolute income and relative income. Imagine you have 2 friends, one of whom earns $10,000 a month while the other earns $15,000. So who is richer? In terms of absolute income, the person earning $15,000 is certainly the richer, but there is also relative income. Imagine that the person earning $10,000 works 20 hours a week, while the person earning $15,000 works 40 hours. It seems that the game has changed. And one more thing, let's say that one of your friends is living in the countryside in a small village, while the other has to live in the country's capital because he works there. Let's say that the 2 of them go out with their girlfriends for a romantic dinner, that in the interior of the country, the price of a dinner for 2 is $20, while in the capital of the country, something like that doesn't cost less than $100. And now I want to rephrase the question, who is the richest? It's the relative income that really matters. Financial psychology. If I were to recommend just one book from this list, I would choose this one, as it most clearly sums up the way I look at and digest money. And one of the best ideas in the book is when it says that time is the biggest dividend that money pays. While most people use money to buy desires, something I'm doing more and more is buying my freedom. I want to have more time with my children, more time to read, more time to do my sports. I realize that what makes me happiest are these things. So with every investment I make, I no longer think about what I can buy, but how much more free time it can bring me. The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. This is not a finance book, but know that much of your financial success can come from books like this. This one in particular opened my mind when it talked about the concept of being proactive as opposed to being reactive. Being reactive is when you blame other people. Oh, I'm not rich because I wasn't born in such and such a place, because my parents didn't do such and such a thing, because I didn't have such and such an opportunity. Now, being proactive is knowing that circumstances may not be what you want, but that you are responsible for what happens in your life. I didn't get here the way I would have liked. But what can I do to make this better life possible? Think and get rich. When it comes to finances, mindset is an indispensable trait. If you live life with a scarcity mentality, thinking that there will never be enough money and that getting rich is almost impossible, then that's what you'll experience. On the other hand, if you believe in abundance, your actions will align with your beliefs, which will make your path easier. Don't get me wrong, the mindset alone isn't enough. You'll still have to work hard. But if you have the right mindset, your focus will be well directed, which will help you a lot. The Smart Investor. This was one of the stories that most changed the way I invest. And within it, there's this wonderful story about Lord Market. Imagine there's a person with that name who comes up to you every day and offers you money for your shares. One day he's all excited and offers you $1 million. The next day he's extremely depressed and offers you only $50,000, even though your shares haven't changed much. Most people buy more shares when the market is buoyant and sell them when it's depressed. Others try to reverse this and do the opposite. Although it's tempting to predict the future, the sensible thing to do is to ignore what the market says and invest for the long term. The Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. This is another book about mentality, which talks a lot about self-sabotage. Take, for example, phrases that we've been told are true from an early age, such as that rich people are dishonest and evil. So if you think that about rich people, you'll never become one. What the book brings is a different vision that frees us from this negative version of the rich, which opens the door to a more prosperous life. The Richest Man in Babylon. Perhaps the simplest book on this list, but perhaps the most important. It's a fictional book that tells the story of a man who couldn't get rich even though he lived in the richest city. Then he decides to ask an old friend, who was the richest person there, for advice. It's simple advice, such as setting aside part of what you earn and not investing in something you don't know about. This will probably be the first financial book I give to my children. It's a treasure in itself. And those were the 8 books, with their 8 great ideas. If you haven't read any of the books on this list, just pick one. A huge hug, much wealth in your life, and be a better person. Hi, this is another video from the Be a Better Person channel. If you really like this video, don't forget to hit the like button, and of course, don't forget to subscribe so you can receive more inspiring videos every week. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you soon, hugs.